Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And a couple more cards using Simon Says Stamps August 2024 card kit. I've done a video unboxing of the kit and I used the stamp set in a recent live. I will have those linked in the end screen at the end of the video for you guys to check out if you're interested. And then for these cards, I'm using the 3D embossing folder and combining a couple of die sets, a little Buttercup die set that comes in the kit and the mushroom dies. This time the tall mushroom dies. Because I said when I unboxed the kit, I was like, oh, these will go great together. The embossing folder and the little Buttercup dies are available individually as well, as is a lot of the other elements of the kit. So I will have links to all the things. As always, I'll have a link to the kit, everything individual, all the supplies I used, that will be in the description box below the video. As always, my links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links, end up placing an order, I get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. It's what helps pay the bills, fund the channel, keeps everything going. And yeah, let's get into making these cards. So this is the Simon Says Stamp Blossom Swag embossing folder. And for me, I like to lightly mist the cardstock I'm using. This just kind of helps it emboss and not crack because I'm using Simon Says Stamp's 120 pound smooth white cardstock. So just a light mist of water. I get it in my folder. And then for me and my EMPRESS machine and Simon Says Stamp's 3D embossing folders, I just need the folder and one cutting plate. And it works like a charm. Love it. Love it. So I'm going to do this twice. Because why not? Plus, I wasn't sure. I'm going to do a new to me technique. Many makers have done this over the past, I don't even know how long. The blackout technique. I've done it in other ways, but I haven't done it like this. And it's fun. And it worked. So yay. But as far as like different techniques and things to do with embossing folders, I will post a link to my playlist, which I just finished updating, that has all the videos I've done using embossing folders. There's nearly 100 videos in there. So if you want ideas, check that playlist out. I'll have it in the end screen as well as like in the upper corner at some point. And yeah, all bajillion different ways to use embossing folders. So for this, you use it upside down, like the cardstock you've embossed. So the raised edge, of the design is on the back. I am ink blending on the like kind of debossed section, if that makes sense. So technically the back. And this is the whole thing's going to look like a hot mess. You just bear with me. So I'm using Simon's Pawsitively saturated inks and a blending brush. And I'm just getting color into all those areas that are sunk in to the cardstock and not worrying about anything else because all of that's going to get covered up. So I chose a variety of colors. I used marine, cabbage, lilac, and heather. I was actually inspired by one of the pattern papers in the kit. People give me grief about not using my pattern papers. One, I don't mind hoarding them. And two, I do get inspiration from them. Just like this. I loved the colors and I was like, that's what I'm doing. So then this part, this is where it looks insane. It looks super messy. It's actually not. I grabbed a black Soot Distress Oxide ink pad, and it's hard to show. In fact, you can't really see what I'm doing in the sense of I'm not pressing with the ink pad. Like I'm just lightly running it across. And this is why you want to work on the back because the ink is only applying to kind of the flat surface, the raised area of this background. So all those areas that are sunk in are not getting any of that black ink for the most part. There'll still be a bit, but that's fine. This is also why you don't want to press, you're not trying to smush that ink pad into the little crevices and everything. So I just take my time, work my way around. It doesn't have to be a black Soot Distress Oxide. You can use probably almost any black ink for this. I just grabbed this one because I really do like how oxide ink looks. So I went all over that, wiped off my work surface, and then I just sped along the drawing with my heat tool just because I want to add other things on top. And again, I didn't add a ton of ink. I just added enough to cover everything up. And so this dried fairly quickly, and it would have even without the heat tool. I just wanted to ensure that things were dry because I want to splatter on top of this, of course. So I got everything dry, and I love how it makes the colors just pop. I use light colors, but with that black, it just pops. So then for an extra something, I use the Peacock Feathers Distress Spritz. Also comes in the kit. Can get it individually. Right now, it looks like nothing. Like, it looks like nothing on nothing. I will show at the end with my flashlight the shimmer. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It's beautiful. So I added that, and then I'm go big or go home. I'm going to add more splatter. I put a little bit of white gouache on a palette, added just a bit of water, thin it out a little bit so I can get it to a good splatterable consistency, and then use my little fan brush and just splatter this all over these backgrounds. So it'll just give it that little extra something that I love. Plus, this also just kind of adds to it because, doing this sort of technique, it is a bit messy. It's not perfect, but like always, perfection's overrated. So I set those aside to dry, and then I die cut more just white cardstock using the beautiful Buttercup die set, which that one comes in the kit, and then the tall mushrooms little wafer die set that I had in my stash. And I die cut everything twice because, again, doing 2 cards. And then I stuck all the die cut pieces to one of my grip mats. This is the Altenew Ultra Sticky Grip Mat, just to hold all these little pieces in place. And then very simple ink blending. I pulled in one more color for this. This is the Rainbow Splash Buttercream dye ink. I use that for the stems and the undersides of the caps of the mushrooms. And then I used all those same inks that I used on the background to ink blend onto all of these pieces. So I used heather ink on the mushrooms, and then lilac, and then I took the cabbage ink and added that to the little smallest mushroom caps there. And this time I'm working with my smaller blending brushes because it gives me a little more wiggle room when I have so many die cut pieces, crammed onto this piece. And then same green ink for the little stems for these little buttercups. I said this when I unboxed the kit. I was like, this is such a cute little die set. I love it. I love it. But again, floral anything, I'm a fan. Big shocker, So I used the marine ink on these and did a little bit lighter hand and just kind of did sort of the tops and the bottoms of these little die cut pieces. And then assembly, super easy. I've shown these mushrooms many times, but you slap the stem on, you slap the cap on, done. Simple. Another reason why I love these sorts of wafer dies. If I don't have to think very much and they just kind of build themselves, really, I'm a fan. So I adhered everything together with craft tacky glue. And the little buttercups, same thing, super duper simple. You just layer the smaller one on top of the larger one, and then you add the stem, just like that. If you want to build, make them a little more dimensional, you could adhere them together with like a thin, like a little foam square, pop it up a little bit. That would look really cute too. But I generally just kind of adhere everything with glue because by the time I'm done and I'm adding, 15 layers of die cuts to my cards, I don't really need the extra dimension. But it's an option and it does look really cute. So I adhere those together, and then you just apply a teeny bit of adhesive to the top of the stem, and it just gets adhered right into place. And then you've got these just adorable little buttercups. Love them. So got everything adhered, and then off camera I actually did another set of the buttercups for the inside, but I'll get to that. And then my backgrounds, I forgot to mention that they weren't originally A2 sized. I'd cut them a little bit bigger because when you run cardstock through with an embossing folder, it will generally get a tiny bit smaller because that cardstock's being pressed, up, down, sideways, whatever. So I had made these just slightly bigger, and then that way I could trim them down to A2 size because I want them to completely cover my card base. So there was that method to the madness. So I trimmed those down, set them aside again, and then just grabbed a scrap of, I think this is surf blue cardstock, and I'm using the sentiments from the stamp set that comes in the kit, also available individually. It's the Graceful Flowers stamp set. So I used my anti-static powder tool on the cardstock and then stamped the sentiments with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and then added clear embossing powder, tapped off the excess, melted that with my heat tool. You don't have to heat emboss with that ink. You could just stamp it, but you just need to let it dry. And on color cardstock, this ink does take a while to dry, and I would rather just heat emboss it, save me the aggravation of smearing it, because this is just why I do what I do. So once they were done, I used my microfiber cloth to remove the excess anti-static powder, use the coordinating wafer die to die cut the sentiments. And then off camera, I did my first little like cluster. You can see it there on the right, and got everything adhered. And then I just had to copy that with the second one. It's another reason why I like making more than one of mostly the same card, because it's like one can be my tester off camera, so you guys aren't seeing me fiddle and drop things and get my head in the way and all that kind of stuff. And then I can use the second one to film with. So got that, all the little mushrooms and buttercups adhered. And then grab some baker's twine from my stash, because I just happen to have some that went perfectly with the colors. So wrap that around the card front, and then you start your knot. Reverse tweezers for the win, as always, because those will hold the little knot in place, so I can sit there and fiddle and make my little bow. Especially with baker's twine, the reverse tweezers come in handy, because you don't want to be pulling everything tight before you start like adjusting the bow, because baker's twine is twisted. You know, it's many threads twisted together, and yeah, if you pull it tight, you'll know what I mean, because the minute you start adjusting it, everything starts twisting and curling and looking really weird. So I did that to both of the card fronts, and then I popped the sentiments into place with some thin foam squares. So it'll give them a tiny bit of dimension, but also it just kind of evens everything out, because I've got those die cuts in the way, the baker's twine, etc. So got those popped into place. And then my card bases are going to be top folding A2 white note cards. And this is where those extra buttercups are going to come in handy. And then I'm going to stamp another sentiment from that stamp set onto the insides of these cards with that Nocturne ink. And then adhere the card fronts to the card bases, adding a decent amount of glue. You don't need tons of it, just a decent amount. And then off camera, I stuck these under something heavy to hold everything down, let the glue dry. And then my final little bit of embellishment, again, of course I had embellishments to match. Oh, so many things. Anyway, I've got sea glass embellishments from Trinity Stamps, and just kind of sprinkle those around the little mushrooms and buttercups, and then adhered those into place with little dabs of craft tacky glue. And then once those are adhered, I just got to let the glue dry, and these cards are complete. So now I'm going to show you guys the sparkle from the Distress Spritz, because, you know, it looks like fine, but then when you see the sparkle, look at it. And it's like the whole background. Isn't that just fabulous? And it doesn't rub off. If you go with a lighter hand with this stuff, if you're trying to completely cover a background with these, don't be surprised if it starts rubbing off, because there's just too much. But I did like 1-2 spritz max on these backgrounds, and it gives it just the prettiest sparkly shimmer. Love. Everyone was right when they were contacting me about these Distress Spritz and how much they knew I was gonna love them. Oh yeah, they're fabulous. I loves them. So those were the cards. As always, links to all the things will be in the description box below the video. Just expand it. They'll all be there for you. And yeah, I will catch you all very soon in the next one. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in supporting me over on Patreon, the link to that is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye.